Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Crowley House Flower Farm and Nursery. Today I'm going to take you inside the greenhouse because it is still really blustery and cold outside. Well, sporadically cold. When the sun comes out, it feels great. Today we're going to be talking about Geranium a little bit. One of those foliages, I guess, that everybody loves for their garden. I guess maybe it's one of those you either love it or you hate it. So the other day, Braden and I headed down to the beach just for a day, just to relax and enjoy. It was beautiful. And then we headed over to a nursery to pick up our order, and I thought I would take you along as we did that. And today I thought I would take you along as I harvest and process some tulips. And I'm just going to show you the Geraniums that we picked up because this is something I do every single year and I just love them. So anyways, I thought this would be kind of fun for you to see the different ones that we picked up this year. I tell you, that nursery is one of the most beautiful and well-kept nurseries I have ever been to. I aspire to be similar to that. Here's a sneak peek of that nursery and just gives you an idea of how much work goes into behind the scenes of all your plants and the care that goes into bringing the perfect plants at the right time, blooming, whatever it is. There's just a lot that goes into it. So it's kind of fun to see the behind the scenes. So I just had to pop into the greenhouse and cut a few things for a custom made bouquet that someone is going to stop by and grab. It's kind of fun, you know, just being a part of people's lives sometimes when they're like, hey, my friend just had surgery, or, you know, whatever it is. And we get to just make something really pretty for them. Okay, so here's all the tulips. Oh my God, they're looking gorgeous. I'm going to show you how we harvest them, and Riley's going to be processing them in the studio, and she's going to show you how we finish processing them. But it's really kind of easy and fun. So we had a threat of kind of some heavy hail, and so we just went ahead and put up plastic with these hoops over it so that we could cover them just for the storm. It was just lasted a couple hours and then it drifted off, and we, of course, because we did all this hard work, there was no hail. But look at this one here, you guys, and this is just the sweetest. So this one here is called Purple Crystal, which just has a little bit of a fuzz at the top of it. Isn't that fun? I'm gonna cut some of these for Riley, or pluck is what we're gonna do. So literally, so for flower farming, what we do, different than if they were in your landscape, but we reach down, and I find reaching way down closer to the soil and then just gently lifting up. And then you pull the whole bulb and everything out at the same time. But if you kind of grab here to the top, sometimes you will break it off. But just like that, pull it out, you lay it down, kind of pull the ones that are ready. They all kind of come on at the same time. It's a lot of work to keep up with all the tulips, but I just kind of shake off the extra soil, plop them there. Isn't that just the sweetest? I love that. So Today we're harvesting a bunch of tulips, and people always ask like, why do you cut the bulb off or like apart? For me, it's like, well, first of all, you can't replant the bulb just because it won't grow back the same. Usually like the first year is the best year you're gonna have. So it doesn't really count. It's kind of like a seed. But I cut it so that we get more stem length, because the stem technically ends down here. So I cut the bulb apart to get the rest of that length for our bouquets. As you see, it has a longer stem. So by removing that, you get at least like a solid inch more of length. So it's really controversial actually of like why we do this, but the bulb itself can't photosynthesize without the green. So if we're cutting it down here at the stem, there's nothing for it to get the energy to create another flower the following year. So there's really no point in keeping it in the ground. And yeah, it's fun. You just get to cut it open. It's like an onion. And a lot of times they're like rotten like that. So. Okay, the first one that I wanted to share with you, this is lemon, and these are pelargonians, which that's kind of the scientific name of the scented geranium. But each scented geranium, what's really cool about them is they have like, each one has their own scent. This one, obviously being lemon, you can see those fine leaves like that. It's a very upright. We like to use this a lot of times in mixed bouquets because it gets nice and tall in the garden, but it has a very definite lemon smell to it. I love this one just for that laciness of it. Last year I used my scented geraniums as a ground cover in some areas where I just didn't have anything to put in, and this one did really, really well. Just very upright and tall. It has an intense, it says intense pink flower from spring to fall. So that's the one thing about these. They have a lot of texture, a lot of, and you'll see all the different ones have different looks, different smells. It's just so unique, so fun. It's kind of fun to collect different ones each year. And then they have a little bit of a bloom, but not that huge mop head that you see like on a lot of the regular scented geraniums that you get. And actually, I feel like the ones that have the showy flowers on it that you would plant in a window box or something like that kind of stink when you touch the leaf. I don't know about you, just let me know what you think, but this one is definitely citrus lemon yummy. So this next one is called Sweet Mimosa. So when you squeeze the leaf, it has a very faint smell, not quite like the lemon, but it has a little bit of that mimosa type, like what you would find in a drink, but very, very light. This one is much larger, and it has, let's look at the tag here. So it has a bushier, upright habit to grow, and it has a pink flower as well. Fragrant, sweet foliage, and it does, definitely. Not as sweet as the lemon though, but isn't that pretty? Just larger leaf, very tropical looking. This one's really fun. Look at that leaf. Isn't that fun? It's a very fuzzy, it's kind of got almost a white cloud type look to the top of it. And this is peppermint, and it is a fuzzy, it says it's fuzzy leaved. It's more of a broad growing type habit, and it definitely smells like peppermint. Oh, so yummy. Love that one. If you're planting these in mass, that would probably work really, really well. Just, or even like, can you imagine on the side of like a pot or something by your front porch, and if you brush up against it, it'd be really nice. So this is a really popular one. This is old-fashioned rose, and this one has a lemon rose fragrance with a light pink and white bloom. But yeah, very, very light rose scented, very traditional smelling of a geranium, but the leaf on that is really nice. And this one kind of has a little bit more of an upright, solid type, not so rambly, so that would look really nice as well in the landscape, especially if you planted a whole bunch of them mixed in, because they get kind of tall. I would say they would get to a foot, maybe a little bit higher sometimes, but that's kind of the average. So these are always a favorite with folks. This is called chocolate mint. So definitely has a chocolate undertone to it, but also the leaf on it. Isn't that pretty? And a mint kind of scent to it. This one in the garden looks amazing, planted in mass. I'm gonna do that. I think this one is just stunning. But what's fun about pelargonians is you can actually take cuttings Like each one of these little guys you could take off and stick in brooding hormone. We've been talking a lot about that on the channel, about propagating things. But we propagate a whole bunch of ours as well. Okay, a couple more for you. So this one also tends to be very popular, which is Attar of Rose, which is a very, very popular one. It also has that really light lemony rose flavor, or scent, not flavor. I'm sure it would taste good if it was edible. This one also is very, very popular, which is called Lady Plymouth Variegated. I love this one because it's got that slight edge on it that is kind of that creamy white color. And this one has a very faint smell, not super strong. Let's see what it says about it. Deep toothed, so that's what they call that, which is very like deeply chiseled out. So it's deep-toothed foliage with cream and white edging. So the flower on it is kind of a tinge of pink and red. So they each have a little bit different. They're like really lacy flowers. This last one is just stunning. This is called Phyllis. And this one is the variegated kind of creamy yellow with the light green foliage, as you can see, just really bright spot. Could you imagine adding that into a pot? So this one is covered in a lot of like pink flowers on it. Really, really pretty. And it doesn't have a super strong smell, I would say. It's more the foliage that is attractive, and it's definitely showy. This one's name is Phyllis. I think I said that, but I got it because just in memory of my mom, I thought it was really cool. And these are her favorite colors anyways. It's like yellow and green. So it's very fitting. So on our scented geranium, we like to fertilize maybe once a month, and a lot of times I kind of forget about them and they just do amazing. But if you had them in a basket or hanging basket or even a pot next to the front door, I would say once a month fertilize it, just as like what the, we use a lot of times fish emulsion. You can also use, synthetic type fertilizers if that's what you're into. Whatever you're fertilizing your other plants with, go ahead and fertilize them. They don't need a lot of fertilizer in my opinion, and we have grown them for years with just a little bit of compost and a slow release fertilizer that's out in the field, and we use them as a cut flower foliage basically. They make for a really good foliage. Now a lot of them are tender, so we have to lift some of them. We take cuttings of them every year. We propagate them onto a 50 cell and then grow them on through the winter in the greenhouses where it's a little bit warmer, and we can kind of keep an eye on them. We always lose a few, but for the majority, we have a ton of scented geranium. In fact, I have a ton sitting here that I've propagated, and they look amazing, and they're different types. So I have another video on scented geranium that I did a couple years ago, and it's just kind of fun to look back at all the different varieties that we have grown over the years and just fallen in love with. And every year, it's just kind of fun to have different things that we order in and try, and people love them. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed looking at all the scented geraniums that we have this year. And let me know in the comments below whether or not you love them or hate them, because I feel like they're one of those foliages that you either love or hate, or what have you. I do find that I have pulled some, I seeded up some of the bullseye salmon and bullseye white, I believe, this year. I have a whole bunch of them. I'll show you here. But they are coming along really, really well. They have a beautiful bloom, and you grow them just for the bloom. I lifted a couple of them this last year, and they bloomed in December, which just filled the house with and it was like a pink bloom. I think I showed you guys on a video here. It was so nice to have those fresh flowers just blooming in the house. So they are something that you can move in as a house plant, very versatile and just really fun to grow. So if you don't grow them, I would say look for them at your nursery center and try and find just a few to tuck into your garden and see how you like them. Anyways, okay, until next time, much success in all you do and grow, and we'll be seeing you shortly back here at Crowley House very soon. Bye-bye.